Because if we're going to resist our leaders, we have to say, on the basis of this set of facts, right? This is the state of affairs, it's intolerable, therefore we resist. If there are no facts, we can't resist. It becomes impossible.
But what we're seeing, especially with the high emotion media that's come in more recently with the internet, with Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, all of that, is we're shifting from reading the news and talking about it in a matter-of-fact manner to high emotions. It's faces, it's voices, it grabs your attention, and it's kind of like constant advertising. You don't even have to think, your brain absorbs this information. So we see all these leaders around the world. The ones who are the most high conflict personality are the ones who come forward in this face and voice news environment. And they grab your attention, they grab your brain, and they make up stories. It doesn't matter if they're true or false, it's the best stories. And all the stories tend to have a terrible crisis and an evil villain that caused the crisis and a superhero, that's me, the candidate. And the modern media, inadvertently, I think, is really promoting these people who would have just stayed on the fringes, who everyone would have laughed at and said, you know, you're just way out of line here. Today, the way out of line people get the most attention, and that's not good for the future.
What follows from that is that if you want to build an authoritarian regime, you try to make that factual world less salient. You try to make the world less about the facts that are between you and me, and more about the emotions that will either divide us or bring us together. It doesn't really matter which. Authoritarianism depends upon people getting used to hearing the things that they want to hear. And what it does is it takes that public sphere and dissolves it, right? It says there aren't really truths out there. There aren't really experts out there who can tell you those truths. It's really all about how you feel about the world. What the fascist ideas do with the new technology is they drive us into a situation where we think the real stakes of politics are all emotional and all about enemies, usually enemies at home, where we get ourselves all worked up about things, whether we like the government or not, but somehow we never leave our couch while we're doing it, where we leave all of our energy right in front of the screen, basically, and don't actually get out and vote or organize or think creatively about what policy might look like. Because what a social platform does, or even what a Google search does, is that it learns what it is that you want to hear, and it gives you more of that thing, and thereby slowly changes you. I mean, it shifts you away from a person who thinks there are facts out there and more towards a person who just gets used to hearing the things that he or she wants to hear. You shift from being a person